You may think that I'm just incredibly lucky to find an old table that's the exact right color for my little guest room. Well, this is not an old table. In fact, it's really a brand new table done in this beautiful alligator finish. You know, we used to throw away tables that had a finish like this, but now it's coveted. That kind of patina of age is something that we all really look for in old pieces, old primitive pieces. And Eli Rios, in his studio at 29th Street in Manhattan. Hi, Eli.
Hello, Martha.
It's going to show us how he transformed a brand new shaker table that comes from the Shaker Workshop into this lovely antique replica with a milk paint technique.
Well, this is easier than you think. And I can show you on this table that I have here. It's
okay, I'll carry this prepared.
Off. This is the same shaker table. I have already primed it. We put a latex paint on it. And then it was antiqued. And what we've done to distress it, we call it distressing, is we've actually used these to kill the edges. And we went like this on the edges. We did the same on the legs.
What kind of tool is this? Where do you get that?
Oh, this is a mallet that we use here. This is another one that we use. This one
Dangerous tool.
Yeah, this one is made out of lignum vitae, which is a very heavy wood. All right, but this one we went around the edges again, but then did some depressions on the top.
But you did not overdo it. It looks like it's old but not damaged.
We actually did it, and it looks random, but there was some thought behind it, meaning where it would be worn. That's where we did it. Last is we keep a lot of old keys around. And with these keys is what we actually
How great.
Top. And in this area, maybe there was a little lantern or something, so we let you know. Now, all of this shows up later after we apply the milk paint. This is actually milk paint made from milk with the addition of slaked lime, which has a chemical reaction with the powdered milk, and it's pigmented with earth pigments. For demonstration purposes, I'll show you two colors. We have mustard.
This one and this one.
Mustard. Okay. Now, all we have to do is, when we mix this, we mix equal parts water to the powder. So you can do that one, and I can do this one.
Eli, where does the tradition of milk paint come from?
In America, it's been used on shaker furniture. If you can imagine in the early days, when the only thing that was around in a lot of the shaker communities were cows, it was a farm, so therefore naturally you have milk. And thereby milk paint became available. The pigments were available from the native Indians. I mean, they traded with the Indians. So you got earth pigments from them. And in those days, it was just the lime, which is the same thing they used to do whitewashing.
Right, the slaked lime, yes.
Slaked lime mixed with the milk, except in those days they used to put it into the raw milk and separate the milk using urine. Okay? The yellow part of the milk at that time actually is called casein paint, which is also used. We use that primarily on gilding. Okay, now you could add a little more powder to that.
A little more, okay.
Yes.
Where does one get this milk paint?
The milk paint you can get at the Old Mill Cabinet Shop in Pennsylvania. Okay, so we add a little water there. We'll get a brush. The water we're using is warm water. Mix it up with a brush. Now, the consistency should be sort of thin, not too thin, depending on what look you want. In fact, the thinner the paint, the smaller the crackling that you get. And the thicker the paint, the more, let's say, alligator you get. Okay? So, the direction we put the paint in is in this direction, the same way.
Same with the grain. Should I do that from this corner?
Yeah, you can just do right up to there. We'll do half and half.
Okay.
Now, one thing you should remember is this product is non-toxic. And you clean up with water. Now, in order to crackle this, you don't have to mix anything into this. The way that we make this crackle is actually to force dry it. And we do that with a common hair blower.
Oh, great.
Now, I have one here for you before it dries.
It's crackling beautifully.
Have the table already crackled with the blue color that you like, prepared for you for the next step.
Oh, great. So nice.
Okay, this table has already been prepared. It's smooth. All right?
So you sanded a little bit, or?
We sanded this one. We actually can sand just a little bit more on the edge, just to expose the paint that's below it. This is white paper. We call it trimite paper, what they call free cut paper. It doesn't clog as quickly, and we can use it on the surface. And we'll just quickly sand just the edges. Okay, the next step that we do to this is we're going to add a wax coating to this. And the wax coating is what you would normally put on a table. The exception this time is that we're going to add pigment to it in order to enhance the difference between the crackling and the background color.
Good. Right? So how do we do that? And what kind of wax?
The wax we're going to use is going to be the Boston's Bowling Alley Butcher's Wax, which is commonly available. The next thing, these colors actually come in pound containers. We buy them like that.
Oh, all right. So these are powders.
Yeah, these are the pigments, which you also get at the Old Mill Cabinet Shop. We put them in this box. I organized this so that the guys have a certain order in which to work, from light to dark. And the color we're going to use to mix in there is going to be the sienna, which is this one, raw sienna. I'm just going to show you a little bit how to do it. We actually pick up a little wax from here, and I'll dip it here. This is only for demonstration. And so you can see that the wax readily mixes. And then if we put it right on the furniture, put a little bit on there so you can see, rub it on. Okay. Let's wax the entire table. I have some wax already made with the pigment.
And would you do it with a stippling brush?
We can use a rag and a stippling brush. Okay. You can start on the edges with the brush, and I'll get a piece of cloth.
Oh, so the cheesecloth really spreads it around much faster.
Spreads it around.
Yeah.
Just straighten it out. The next step here is we are going to just steel wool the surface, and then we're just going to buff it up with cheesecloth. Now the steel wooling, when it does is it leaves the dark wax in there, and a certain amount of it stays on the surface.
And the wax will act as a protection also.
That's right.
For the milk paint.
Water repellent. Now, if you are going to do a breakfast table or kitchen table, and you want to do a milk finish on it, it should be protected with a type of varnish. That's called hydrocoat, and you put the varnish on before the wax in that case.
But for an end table like this, you don't have to use a varnish.
No, not for that.
So one light steel wooling will do this?
Correct. Next thing is a little buffing, and it's 200 years old.
That final polishing is what makes the finish extremely smooth. Well, Eli, you know how to make old furniture look museum quality, and you know how to make new furniture look old. And I just thank you so much for all your help in making us understand how these techniques work. Thank you so very much.
Well, you're welcome, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.